Hi friends, Kelly here. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a while. I'll talk about that in a little bit here. But first off, let me just welcome you back if you are new around here. Hi, my name is Kelly. Welcome to my channel. I am a maker of junk journals, paper crafting, grungy, fun deliciousness. But I dabble in some other stuff too. So speaking of other stuff that I dabble into, that's what I have at my desk. So before I go any further, I am going to try to get better at this. If you have not subscribed to my channel and you like any of my content at some point, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up at some point. Thank you so much. Okay, so what is on my desk? Well, let me tell you. I have not been present on YouTube for quite a while now. I don't even know my last video. Might have been 2 months ago. But I have been a little bit busy. So I have some new digital sets on my desk that I have created. I've actually created quite a few. So I'm very excited to share with you 4 new sets that I have. These are all available in my Etsy shop, links below. You can also find them on my Ko-Fi site. So if you prefer to shop that way, you can find them there as well. Let's just jump in and I'll share with you what I have here. I also have on my desk my 2 stamp sets. I have multiple stamp sets, but these 2 here I'm going to talk about with the first kit here and how well they pair together. And then hopefully, if this video isn't super long, I'm actually going to pull these out, not these ones, I'm going to sell these. I'm going to pull mine out and maybe play a little bit with the ID cards. So speaking of which, let's start there. So let me set these aside and let's have a look here. This is my second set. And sorry, the paper's a little wonky. I printed this out a while ago because I made it a while ago and intended to share, but again, I'll chat in a little bit about my update, but I'm back. Okay, so here is the ID Document Starters Volume 2. I have a Volume 1 already on my Etsy shop available. So this is a continuation of that. I really love this idea of volumes. So you'll see today I have a couple of different things going with that. So this is Volume 2 of ID Document Starters. This is actually 3 pages. The first one is only 2 pages. Do I have all 3? It'll be really tragic if I don't. I do, okay. Okay, so here's what we have. You are going to get 3 pages. And these are super fun to play with. I've got a couple of different scales and colors, a little different than the first set. I wanted to make sure that if you already have the first set and you loved them, you could pick up the second set and just kind of build your little library of ID starters. First, let's talk about the cast of characters. I have new photos, and I have them in 2 sizes. I have 4 that are a little bit smaller, and then these 6 that are a little larger. So we have some new friends here, and this time I went for I kind of like mixing it up. I want to represent lots of different people, so I have and different fun aesthetics. So I love hats. So I have a couple of hats. I don't think I have any ladies in hats this time, but I have gentlemen in hats. So I've got some military kind of looking guys. I have 3 of those. I have some kind of like, I don't know, I would call them maybe business looking women and men. This lady, I just totally thought how fun it would be to make like a little ID card for like a Hollywood actress. And she just kind of fit the bill for me on that. But I think she could be many, many things. But I thought it'd be really fun if you had like a Actors Guild or I don't know, something. So let's see. So we've got 8 of this larger size. And just for reference, every time I pull out my ruler, I do it wrong. This is 1.5 by 2. So the larger ones are 1.5 by 2. The smaller ones are a little bit wonkier. Almost 1.25 by, 1.75 by 1.25. Just to give you an idea of, I might as well keep that out. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so that's the sizing of the photos. Now, the ID cards themselves, when I create these, I have an idea in my head that I want it to be very, very versatile. So I don't do a whole lot of anything to the ID card. I distress it a bit. I give it a little bit of a distressed look, but I want you to be able to do more of that. So what you'll find, and I'm going to be doing a lot of shifting because I have built these so that you can really turn them any which way you want. So for example, this like kind of like pea green, I don't know what color to call it, chartreuse, I don't think that's right. I'm so bad with colors. There's this big large box here. Actually, let's do this. I have these cut out somewhere. Let me find the photo. Let me find one of the photos so you can see for visual of the sizing. I don't want to cut this apart yet, but I will go find a photo, so I'll be right back. Okay, I found a few of them. I have already been playing with this set and I cut a bunch of it apart and I don't know what I did with it all, but here's what I have. You'd think I would have been more prepared for this. I would have had a whole set cut out, but that's really not how I roll. So I have a few that are already cut out, so this will be great. I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so here again, let's go back to, this is page 1. I designed it so you could turn it this orientation, okay? And then this is what I wanted to talk about. The photos are not sized to fit into the boxes per se, okay? So like this bigger one is a little bit outside of it, and if you take the little one, it's a little inside, but it's not, this is a square. I did that intentionally because I want you to be able to have a lot of versatility with this. I think it looks completely fine, actually, if it's not squared in the middle. Let me see, I have some examples from my first document starter set. So here, for example, you see this box is, I think my camera's trying to figure out who these people are. So sorry if things go a little wonky. This photo doesn't fit perfectly in this square, which leaves you a little extra room for some stamping and embellishing. So again, you will find that the photos do not fit perfectly in. Also, you'll find that you can turn the orientation. So again, we have it this way, which would be really cool. You do a lot of cool stuff here, but you could also flip it this way and you can have it like that. So you can choose how you want this to play out. Also, with a lot of these, you might say, okay, I really like this piece here, but I don't really need this piece. We'll just cut it off. And then you have 2 ID cards. Or same thing here, if you go this way, if you were like, oh, I don't really want all this extra on the bottom, you just trim it off and make this the ID card or this the ID card. Lots of versatility. I designed it intentionally that way. Okay, so there's the first page. And then again, here is this page here, or this card. So we can do it like that, or we can flip it and we can do it like that. So I hope you're kind of seeing where I'm going with this. I kind of like this as like maybe like some sort of military ID. I just think that would be really cool. And he look handsome in there. So again, I could do it this way. I could flip it. I could do it this way. And then again, I have one more, just this whole page apparently. Let's see. I love how this is framed. Photo could go there with something in here, like a stamp or some sort of official thing, or a photo could go here, and this could become sort of official area to put some stamps or whatever you wanted. Again, cut it in half, and now you have this piece, or I think you can almost fold it exactly in half. Yes, it's a little bit, let's go ahead and do that. It goes right to the edge here. So I could do my photo, I could do like some sort of information, or again, that could be some sort of like stamp or seal or something. And this side over here can have a photo and then some stamping and some cool stuff. And you could have a 2-sided. I hadn't even thought of that. Okay, so there you go. And then this one, I was trying to find this. I know I have it somewhere, I think. This one's a big one. And this one's a little more ornate. Oh, and this set I gave you because of the ideas of all these extra boxes. Again, with like this one here, I gave you they're more like postage stamps, but we're a creative bunch, right? Junk journaling, we just kind of make up whatever we want. So I gave you some stamps to work with and have a little bit of fun with. This one's really cool. It's very ornate. I wish I had Our Lady, I don't know how I don't have her here. I don't think I used her, but maybe I did. Our Starlet, I think would be so pretty in here. And then you stamp some cool stuff in here. And then this big one, I love big ones. Let me show you from my first set. I have a couple of the big ones that I played with, and I just think they're so fun to to create with. There's just so much room to have fun with it. So these are a couple examples from ID Starter 1, ID Document Starters, Volume 1. So just to give you an idea of kind of how you can play with it. So again, if we look at it from this orientation, I made this one a whole lot grungier, but you can definitely come in with a lot of inks and do all kinds of fun stuff. So we've got, oh, I just had a really fun idea. What if we did like, he's there, and then here, what if this is him older, but this is his younger version, and like some sort of like, I don't know, is he a spy? I don't know. I have no idea. Let's make up stories, right? Or again, one of these stamps can go here. We've got his photo. We can put something cool in here like a member ID, all kinds of information. So sort of like date log, like he gets this stamped all the time when he goes to wherever he's going or whatever he's doing. So lots of fun to be had with that. So that is ID Document Starters Volume 2. I can't wait to play with this. I've played with it a little bit, but I'm really excited to play with it. And also you're getting your photos. They're very Tim Holtz style, what's it called? Photo booth? Photomatic? No, photo booth. Whatever it's called. It's very much in that style, the old photo booth style. So that is a way you can get some of those photos if maybe you don't want a whole kit of them. Okay, so let me move all my document ID starters out of the way, and let's move on to my next set. Pull this in. Stuff everywhere. This is In the Woods Volume 1. So I made this more at the end of our summer. I really wanted a kit, and let me preface all of this by saying I build a kit that I want to use. That's kind of how this all started. I built this kit because I wanted to create a junk journal that was very reminiscent of like family vacation, camping, cabin, summer, North Woods kind of a thing. So I live in Minnesota. Cabins, camping, lakes, North Woods, that stuff is very, very relevant here. So I made a kit that I would want to play with and actually have a project already in mind. So let's go through this. It is 15 pages. All of my larger ephemera kits are always going to be 15 pages. They're always going to include a complete edge-to-edge background paper and a full sheet of snapshots, usually entails 6 snapshots. So, but this one's a little different. I changed it up a bit. So here we go. I'm just going to kind of point out different things and why I have them here. You're going to find things like illustrations, advertisements for different like resorts and things like that. And then some of it's not always going to be like the US, or some of it can be Europe or different places. Some of it might be in English, some of it might not. Probably going to see a lot leading heavily into Minnesota because that's where I live. That's where I've collected some of my stuff. Okay, so first page here we've got, and color, a little bit of color. We got to get some color in here. So let's see. We have a fishing lure. We have a stamp. We have, I don't know what these things are called, but I actually, when I was antiquing this summer, I found like this apparatus that you like look through and you pop it in there, and I was like, oh, that's what they're for. So I don't know what those are called, but they're cool. It's like a lakefront with like a cabin kind of a thing, or a house, a lake home. Illustrations, like I said, and then you're gonna find things like fish and birds and bears and bugs and stuff like that. This is really cute. It says another enemy to conquer forest fires. 9 out of 10 can be prevented. So I just thought this was so cute. It could be cut out. You could do all kinds of fun stuff with that. Like here it says Breezy Point, Pequot, Minnesota. So like I said, Lake Camp Vermilion, I think that might be Minnesota. This is a advertisement for a resort, little cottages in Minnesota. So a lot of Minnesota stuff. All right, but not all. Maine. I found this. I thought it was really cool. So here we go again. We've got some really cool little things with graphics, things that are going to have to do with fishing gear and shooting and hunting and kind of outdoorsy stuff. And you can kind of take it however you want. So preventing forest fires, that kind of stuff. And then you're going to find a couple of fun, like postcard kind of funny things. Like if you know anything about fishing, you caught a fish this big but it's this big by the time you're done telling the story, that kind of a thing. Okay, so moving on, we have got some more just kind of fun illustrations. This one's really cute. It says the Minneapolis Tribune Guide to the Guide to the Leading Summer Resorts in America's Playground. So this is an advertisement from the local newspaper many, many years ago. This is just a cool postcard, little graphic from a book. Fish, this would be fun to color in. This is a just like a little takeout from a book with, you know, hills and a resort, something like that. Moving on, this page is really fun because I've got this visitor's permit for the U.S. Forest, and it's actually completely blank. You can fill it in however you want. Got a leaf, got a stamp. Here's kind of like a postcard, but it's also a little photo of a travel trailer and cars and tent. Another advertisement. This little thing down here, it actually came from the bottom of a like a map, a resort, or like a travel map from northern Minnesota, Lake Superior. And it says, don't forget your camera. There's another one of these in here. And there's a little guy with a boat. This, I don't know what really is. I don't think it's actually part of that, but I just liked it, so I kept it all together. Wisconsin is another area that my family, we travel there every summer. I did 3 trips technically this summer to Wisconsin. Same areas, did some antiquing. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. You guys, I got so many cool things to show you. Okay, moving on. Let's see, here we've got Yellowstone. Again, just some sort of like little cute advertisement. This is Lake Abilene State Park. It's like a blueprint or whatever for like a building or a monument or something. This is just really cute. Here's a little, kind of like a little tag of, what's it called? It's got like a little subject, location, that kind of thing. Some boats, oars. Yosemite again. I really kind of loved this bright yellow, so I changed a few items to give them that pop of color. So that's one thing I do with the digitals is sometimes I will take some liberties and change the color a little bit. Like if it's a white paper thing that I scan, well, I don't want it to be white necessarily. I want it to have some color, so sometimes I'll change the coloring a little bit. For example, like this bear here, this was a white background and black ink. I changed it to more of this like, I don't know what color that is. That color was brown. Moth and a bug of some sort. This is a postcard that is meant to be cut out and you can put them back to back if you wanted to. Let's see. Excuse me. This is really cute. It's from a youth camp and it's got like the camp counselors in the back. A camp was also a kind of a thing for this. And then it's got some, excuse me, some people. I need to take a moment and drink some tea. My throat is bothering me. I'll be right back. All right, where was I? Yeah, I'm just struggling a little bit to breathe today. Okay, so yes, camp counselors, little kids, they're little boys. I thought that was so cute. Let's see, what else do we have here? This is a little bit of a map at the bottom. It's Lake Superior. Fishing, was really into fishing stuff this summer, so I've got a lot of fishing lures and things. You guys, I got a puppy about a month ago. So she is figured out that my microphone dangles and wants to chew it. I will show you guys. Her name is Georgie. I will make sure you get to meet her real soon, but not right now. Okay, moving on. Let's see, this page here, again, we've got some pops of color. I really loved some of these old vintage advertisements. This is for Pendleton's. This is for beer. I don't know what kind of beer. It's kind of hard to read. I mean, it's an intentional choice. This advertisement is actually like this big, so I shrunk it way down. So with that, you kind of lose some of the text here, but you know, you can kind of see it. Again, fishing lures. Here's that other little bit from that vintage travel brochure I have. It says, don't forget your camera, and there's some deer. I just think that is so cute. Here's another vintage ad from a outdoor magazine for Alaska. That was I got a lot of cool ideas. I have a few things in here from that. Some moths. I just took this out of a little pamphlet I have about Canadian wilderness. So there you go, Canada. These are actually two of from the same brochure. I just changed the colors because I wanted different colors. And moving on, here you go, northern Minnesota. Again, I changed the color. This was actually a larger brochure. I shrunk it down. What else do we have in here? Cute little scene of a family camping. Gotta have a squirrel. Here's a cabin in the woods. With, this has got to be California because look at this. I think it's a sequoia. It's massive. Again, here's an ad for a sleeping bag from that Alaska Outdoor Journal magazine thing. Oh, you guys have no idea how hard I looked for this. This is a fishing license. I was on the hunt for one for so long. I just knew I needed to have a fishing license in here. And I found one in this really crazy, it's a fun place, but it's this huge antique store. I don't even know if it's in a barn, it's in a bunch of sheds. Like, we were there, me and my best friend, for hours, and I went through this whole huge cabinet of paper and I found it, and there was no prices on any of this paper stuff. So I had a little collection of paper of photos and postcards and this fishing license, and the guy that runs it, his name is Poor Richard. Well, that's the name of this place, Poor Richard. He kind of quoted me a price and I was like, will you take this for it? And he said, yes. So, haha. I got my fishing license for a very reasonable price. So that is like, I had to tell you guys the story of that because I was so excited. Okay, I had to take a little break because my battery died. And also, I was just thinking, I'd like to get some of the things out that I used for this because I see another one here. So I grabbed some things. Let's see, this is not it. Oh, but I got all these really cool, I don't even know what these are. Can you see that? Yeah, I got a ton of really cool stuff this summer when I was antiquing. Let's see, where is the, oh, here is, there's some of these stamps, these really big, of course now I won't be able to find it. Where is it? Well, here, this stamp right here, you see that? Is this one down here. So I used some of these cool big stamps. There was another one in here that had lots of fish. There was a bird. I don't know where it is. I'm not going to waste your guys' time. But even that came in this really cool old pink envelope. Very fun. Ah, here. This is, let's see, make it so it's easier to see. This is that fishing license. So you can kind of see it's obviously bigger. I shrunk it down a bit for the digital, and it's got some schmutz on it, and it's very old and distressed. But this was Mr. Carlton Perry's fishing license from Cumberland, Wisconsin, dated 4/30/1949. So there is some cool stuff that I have in here. Let's see, what else do I have? I have all kinds of fun stuff to play with, and for other digitals in the future, but I have to do some scanning. I did some of it, but not all of it. Some photos. It's really cool. Another one of these books with flowers. I have one about birds. Here it is. This is this motoring and hiking map. I don't want to take it out because it's actually very crumbly. I got it for $3. So it was really cool. It's a whole map. And so I scanned it and I used this, the cover is this piece right here. So just kind of, again, I wanted to pull these out to show you an example of where I'm getting some of the items that I have used. This is that travel brochure I was talking about. So you can see here's that map that I used on one of these back here. So this little map here is actually this here that I scanned. So some very cool things. Here's that, don't forget your camera. I just love it so much. So this is the North Shore in Minnesota. This is actually near where I was born. And then I got this one. This is where I got a couple of those little advertisements. I pulled them out of here. And so yeah, so all kinds of neat stuff. So that was just kind of a peek at where some of these really cool items come from. Okay, so I already did that page. We already did that page. We already did that page. Here's where we were. Okay, so back to this ticket. Another resort. Here's, like I said, that little stamp. This is the cover of that map thing, which you could totally turn into like a really cool little cover for something. So that's all of the little pieces. Then you get this page. It's not full page, but it's pretty big, and it's I love this green color, and it's actually again northern Minnesota into Canada. So there's this this green line here, you could see is the Gunflint Trail. So that's a really cool area, northern Minnesota. Very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of it's untouched land. It is beautiful. I went kayaking there last summer, this amazing lake. So I included that piece in. This piece here, now this piece is actually, I think, in French. And it's a little bit, I don't want to say blurry. It's not blurry, but it's not very easy to read all of the stuff. You can read some of the bigger words, but I did that intentionally because I love this kind of stuff for background, and I don't necessarily want to read it. I don't want it to compete with what I'm doing. So that was my intention with that piece. And then I gave you guys 2 sheets of photos because honestly I had a really hard time picking 6 and I wanted more. In fact, I'm thinking I might need to start making some snapshot bundles because I have so many photos. It was really hard to narrow it down, but we'll just kind of take a quick peek at it. So I always like to do some square and then some well, they're landscape or portrait, but these, like, what's the size? It's roughly, the photo itself is roughly 4 by not quite 3. So that's about the size I'm going for. And then the square ones are kind of 3-ish by 3-ish, roughly. Not precise measurements. Okay, so here we have, this is the sign. This is old. This is a dirt road, Gunflint Trail. Here is a office, camp office kind of a thing. Here is 2 guys that are getting in or out of a canoe. Here we have some ladies in a canoe. Here's a woman. She's pouring some coffee. There's a really cool old car and a tent. And then this one here are some people inside of like kind of a rustic cabin lodge. It looks like they have some bottles of soda and they're playing cards. I just love that. And then the second page, we have a cabin here with 2 older women sitting in front of it. Another cabin. This is a campsite as a view from like a boat. There's a guy fishing. Here's a whole group of people posing at camp with some tents behind them. This one would be fun also, and a lot of these would actually go really well in field notes or in naturalist notes is a set I have. I think those would be a good companion to that. This whole kit kind of would. And then finally this one here is Lake Superior. There's a really cool cliff here, rock wall, and there's a little canoe there, a bunch of people or a couple people in a canoe. And then finally you get your edge to edge background piece. So this has kind of got a little bit of that green tone to it. Kind of really like that for the outdoorsy theme. Okay, so that is In the Woods Volume 1. There's definitely a Volume 2 coming because I have so much stuff and I loved it and I can't wait to play with it. I have a project in mind. I'll give you guys a sneak peek of what that is what I'm going to use as the base of that format. Okay, let me set that aside. Then I've got piles and piles now. This is another set of background paper. This is In the Woods backgrounds. So there are 10 sheets, so we'll go through these here. So this first one is a wood plank. Could be a wall, could be a floor. It's got some red kind of rusty tones through it, so I really like that. This is just a large piece of a map from Yosemite National Park. I added a little bit of distressing myself to it, but it's just kind of a nice, fun kind of park map with like trails and all that kind of stuff. Here is another Yosemite. This one's a little bit more muted. It's not as detailed, and you're getting a different colorway. And then tell me this doesn't make you think of a classic picnic tablecloth, like picnic blanket tablecloth. It totally made me think of a tablecloth that you would put over a picnic table when you're at a picnic or camping or whatever you're doing. This is actually a piece from the kit, the ephemera kit. It's that Lake Abilene State Park schematic blown up. It's actually for, now that I can see it again clearly, it's for like the entrance, like the wall and the sign and everything. So I love this font, this color. It says State Park, so I like that. This is a map of Lake Minnetonka. So that is in the area I kind of live. It's about, I would say, half hour, 40 minutes from me, on the southwestern edge of Minneapolis. So this is just kind of a fun touristy style map. So you got more of your lake kind of thing going. So if you were doing a project that was leaning more of like in the woods with the lake, you've got that here. So this is, and it's not the full complete map. I just kind of cut it down to the pieces that I really kind of liked. And then a basic, again, kind of going in the green tone. This is the same pattern. I already put it on my floor, but this is the same pattern as the back sheet of the last sheet of In the Woods ephemera kit. And I just changed the colorway to more of the green. It makes me, this green color is very nostalgic for me. There's a lot, it's odd, but there's a lot of homes and buildings in northern Minnesota up on the Iron Range and kind of by Lake Superior that they're not as many as more now, but when I was a kid, there was a lot, there's like green color. It must have been like, they must have got a really good deal on the green paint. I don't know. There's probably some historical story to go with it, but I don't know what it is, but it just, that's the color I love for thinking about In the Woods and all that kind of stuff. This, I'm trying to think of what it's called. I created this to kind of be reminiscent of a blanket, and I'm drawing a complete blank on what is the blanket. Is it Pendleton? No. Bay something? Oh, it's gonna bug me. But if you know, you know. So it's to look like a blanket. So I gave it kind of a canvas kind of look and distressed the colors and tried to match the colors up best I could to kind of that vintagey vibe. And then, let's see, there's two more. Again, this is kind of that picnic blanket thing. Mine printed with this line in the middle. I'm not entirely sure if that's part of the file or was my printer. I think I actually left it as part of the file. Now that I think about it, I'm gonna have to look at that. Regardless, it's got that classic red check kind of vibe, which goes really well with that picnic blanket. I keep saying picnic blanket, but I mean tablecloth. And then finally, this piece here, you might recognize this. This is that little ad that was also in the ephemera. This was the inside page of that magazine I got from the Outdoor Alaska one. So I just scanned that and kind of changed the color a bit and made this whole sheet. I love this. I'm so excited to play with this kit. So this is an add-on. You can get both in my Etsy shop. So again, this is In the Woods background papers. And let's see, moving on. Okay, one more. I don't think I'm gonna do a project on this because I have a feeling it's already a long video. This I just completed. I'm really excited about this one. I finished this one up actually yesterday. This and that volume 2. So I already have volume 1 in my shop. This is basically just a kit of a mishmash, a little of this, a little of that. So I'll just kind of walk through here. Again, I wanted to add color. I wanted to add things that would kind of go with this and that volume 1. I mean, really anything can go, but kind of taking that same idea. I didn't want to duplicate too much, but I wanted to add companion pieces. So this is kind of what we get. So you'll see some things where you've seen it in volume 1. It might just have a different color or just be a little bit different. Like these tickets are a great example, but there's a lot of new stuff. I had so much fun making this, and I can't wait to start volume 3. I've already got ideas. Okay, so here we have kind of like a floor plan or a schematic, a blueprint of a home. I wanted to give some more pieces that could go towards that kind of a storytelling about a home, family, kind of that kind of route, but still sticking with kind of just a little bit of everything, right? So we've got tickets, we've got just random bits and pieces. Like this says Jefferson City Railroad. You could cut that out. This is American Red Cross little card. I was thinking of like, wouldn't it be fun to do something for like a nurse or something like that? I can't remember what this is for. This is for, is this a ship? I think this is yes, this is a old advertisement for a clipper ship, whatever that is. So a little bit more boat kind of stuff here. Moving on. I could get lost in the details and you guys would be sitting here forever looking at the same page. Okay, moving on. A lot of weird, fun, cool, unique stuff in this kit. I had a hard time narrowing it down. Here is a card that can be printed out and then glued together front and back. So this has got a signature on it, a couple signatures. This is actually for a it's like military. But this side on the back is actually blank. So it says height, weight, complexion, age, color of eyes, color of hair, identification marks, face and hand, blah, blah, blah. So you could use them independently. You could totally fill this out, attach it to an ID card, something like that. I don't really know what this is for, but I loved all the color. It is some sort of clipper. I didn't catch this when I first added it to the kit, but I decided to leave it because I don't really fully grasp what this is for. It might be something weird, but it says Newmarket toilet clipper. I don't know what that means. So it's something to do with horses and clipping, but to be fair, they are using it in the illustration like up here, not any nether region. So going with it. You can cover it up if you don't like it. Let's see, ticket. This is really cool. I love this hand. It is from an ad for a actually a farm and garden book. There's a second half that was above it that I actually included in a different part of this kit. This is just a fun vintage looking illustration of a bike, and this is a dog. Supposed to be like a poodle. So there's a few dog things in here because I have a dog now, so it was a little bit more fun, a little partial to that. Okay, beautiful bird. I love birds so much. This is the second half of that advertisement. I just scaled it a little bit differently. Did I tell you that I changed the color? No, I kept the color the same. So this is also the second half of this. This was above it, but you can see I changed the size. Here we have another front and back. If you put them together, you can actually see this embossed stamp faintly here. So if you put them together, it would go together as a card. So this is completely blank to fill in to whatever you want. I love having those options. This says postal telegraph card, so very cool. This is just a cool little ad for a movie with Rita Hayworth, Frank Sinatra, and Kim Novak. Pal Joey Camp Bowie. I don't really know what the movie is or what the thing is, but I liked it. Stamp, like a cancellation thing, mail. Oh, I love this so much. This is like a little paper doll thing. Veronique, I think this is French. I did a lot more with like railroads and trains and streetcars and stuff like that. I was kind of going in that route too. So this is really fun. I love this because you could totally like punch little holes. There's a hole. You could see where there was a hole here and a hole here. You could ink it, stamp it, do so many fun things with this piece. You could cut it apart. Like you could just, if you just wanted some numbers, you just wanted this piece, you just wanted this piece. There's so much versatility here. A couple of stamps, this souvenir pass for a railway. This is just a pretty little building medallion thingy. Let's see. I've been wanting to use this for so long, and I decided to keep it round because I think you could cut it out, or you might have a die that goes with it, but I really like that. Or you could cut it square. I did, to maximize the space though, I always try to maximize the space. I did bring it up, so if you cut it square, you'd actually run into Craft Social a little bit. Sorry. That was a design choice I made to squeak as much in as I could. Here's just like a travel brochure front. I have no idea what this says, but I loved this typography. It's like, it's beautiful, and I don't know the language. I always want to say French because everything looks French to me when it's like this, but I have no idea. Another dog. I had so many dogs. I wanted to add them all, but they're going to have to just wait for volume 3, 4, 5, whatever. This is a Cocker Spaniel, and I now have a Cocker Spaniel. Her name is Georgie. If I hadn't already said that, she's cute, but she is black and white and not going to look like that. And then this is so cool. This is a week-long pass for Los Angeles Railway. I just loved this little bit here with the clown. So my thought was, you could, if you were like, clowns are a no, I totally understand. Cut that away. You're totally fine. And you still have this cool ticket piece, but I really like that. Okay, next is this page here. Again, streetcar. Here is a railway kind of like membership card, pass card thing. Here's a bit of a boat. And then this piece here, I really like this. It is, I think this could be used a lot of different ways. You could cut this part out and you just have this scarlet tanger tanager. I can't say that. So you could cut this out, use that piece. You could use the thing as a whole. You could come in and you could actually just cut this part and use this, this little flourish over here. So many versatile things to do with that. And then it gave, you know, again, to fill in the space, really, I had to come up with some creative ways to maximize each page. So I've got this little typewriter thing here. This is actually probably a little bit more modern, if that's the right way to say that, than some of the other pieces, because it says, it's very hard to see, but I know it's from 1961. And then this piece came off of a much larger, I can't remember what the document is, but it's got some signature stuff, some, it says Paris on it. It's got like a little stamp. So sometimes you want like a oddly shaped thing. Okay, this is an advertisement, a book page. I don't know, because I don't speak that language. French, again, I know, because it says Paris. So that's my general thought. Here are 4 different really cool passes for different rail, I don't know what to call it, routes maybe in New Orleans. And let's see, down here, this is really cute. I don't know if cute's the right word. Cool. It says something about a brewery. I just like that. I don't actually know what this is. I think it's like a plot, like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Something to determine where the building's going and what the size of it is or something. It's obviously on a riverbank here. And then we have this wonderful, beautiful woman. This is Mrs. Margaret M.H. Finch. She is from the National Archives. This is dated 1941, and she is in the East Search Room. I included this because I just finished reading this book called The Invisible Library, and it was I'm really into like cozy fantasies, mysteries, low stakes fantasies. This one was a little not quite as low stakes, but it was a good book. I liked it a lot. And it's about this invisible library. So they go around and they try to collect. I'm really bad at giving book reviews, so please take this with a grain of salt. But they basically go and try to go into these alternative worlds, realities, whatever you want to call it, and procure rare, unique, and special and important books. So in the world they ended up going into, the main character went into, kind of had like a weird steampunk kind of thing, which I didn't think I would like, and I kind of did. Anyway, this card makes me think of that book, and just like this woman, she's like, maybe she works for the Invisible Library. I might have to, I think I'm going to do a junk journal. I don't know if it's going to make it on the channel. It might just be a me project, but I kind of want to do like a fun junk journal that is kind of about the books I've been reading lately. So that could be a piece I use. Okay, moving on. This is just the front of an envelope. I don't have the back, but I really like, there's so many pieces on it. You could cut this out, you could cut this out, you could cut this out, you could cut this out. You have a lot you can do with that. Down here we have a Western Union telegraph, something about instruments. This is like another railway ticket. You could print this out and then you could actually fold it in half and glue it together, and it would kind of create a really unique two-sided kind of ticket thing, and then just a bird. All right, this is meant again where you could print it out and put it back to back. These two pieces actually go together. It's the front and back of this like postcard. This is really cool and kind of special because my best friend's husband, who is like a brother to me, he is into ham radio, and like he got his grandfather's, I don't know what they call this, call sign or whatever. And so this is I'm guessing kind of in that same thing. It says American Radio Relay League Station something 1AW. So I think that's kind of what it is a nod to, is that kind of world. If it's not, I have no idea, but that's what it made me think of, and so I included it in honor of my brother, not brother, Andy. This is just, I just love the colors of this. It just says it's the master plan for the Muir Woods National Monument from 1938. There's no extra pieces to go with it. I just like this. It was a cover of a much bigger book, I'd imagine. Okay, getting there. I really wanted to go down this road. I kind of wanted to create a whole kit for this, but I'm really hesitant to go super specific outside of like field notes and the woods and that kind of stuff. But I thought it'd be fun to make a kit that is about an artist. So that might be coming. So I just put a few pieces in that I've kind of stashed away for this idea. So there's like some sort of a color palette. It looks like it actually might have been on canvas or some sort of like, I don't know, like textured paper. And then I put this on the same page because I just thought it was really pretty. It's just kind of like a little illustration. There's a little squirrel in here. I think this is beautiful. You could obviously use the whole thing, but you could also kind of take the floral out and use it as a background for something. I just like that. Again, another two-sided front and back of this insurance company card thingy, and some stamps. Okay, we're getting there. This is a kind of a, I don't want to say floor plan, but it kind of is. Like, here's a house, and then here's like a garden, and then more of a house. And so again, kind of going down that road of maybe like something homey, homesteading or home, or I don't know. Just a portrait. Oh, and as there's a portrait here and a portrait here. They could go together. The coloring is a little different. I intentionally did that. I could have changed it so their coloring was a little bit more together. And I thought about actually giving her more an oval, but she's not, to me, that would need her to be faced a little bit more, and she doesn't look like she's quite the same era. But I wanted to make sure you had a man and a wife, or a man and a woman. That's what I meant. Husband and wife could be, I don't know. Okay. And then some stamps and this beautiful little cherry. I don't know what it is. I don't know what, it's got floral flowers on it, blooms. Okay, what do we have here? Birds, lots of birds, love birds. This is I love this. This is an auto driver's license, state of New Jersey, 1941. So you've got all kinds of membership cards and license and all the things in this one. Here's a ticket. And then here is a page from a yearbook. I thought about just taking the faces, the photos, and taking the text out, but I kind of like the text there too. I think that's kind of neat. I did a project recently where I kind of used a little bit of that idea. I actually just did the people, but I was thinking you could totally use that for something too. All right, then we have one page. I had so much fun with this, I just kept going. My thought was to do a recipe, right? Every volume would have the same kind of recipe, and you'd get a couple pages of documents that you could use, but I just kept adding more and more things to it, and I loved it. So I decided to keep all the bits and pieces in there. One page for your kind of full page document. And I decided to go ahead with this piece out of a book about floor plans and homes. I love this because you've got these cute little floor plans, but you also have these photos of homes, and I just thought this is very versatile. You could use the whole page, you could cut it apart. I can't wait to use this. Then you get your page of photos. So this time I had to do a rail car because there's so much in there about that kind of stuff. This is actually the same group of people that is in a photo from volume 1. I decided to put them in this so that if you have volume 1 and you just choose to get volume 2, you actually have the same people. You could do something fun with that. I'm really into the idea of family, home, friends, that kind of thing right now. So here is a lovely photo of all of these women at some sort of event. She's got a trophy and a crown. She's got a trophy. So I just love these. They're all in beautiful dresses. This is, it's just a snapshot of a place. I kind of want to always include something like that. This just says machine shop. It's some M and something motor supply, but I like over here it says ladies hats. So I just thought that was kind of neat. This is actually my family. So this little baby here, this little girl is my grandma Nancy. She is actually now 84. 85. She just had her birthday. Doesn't matter. She's in her 80s. This is her family. So this is my great grandmother and my great grandfather. I never got to meet them. They passed away before I was ever born. So this is my great grandmother Mabel. Wait, Mabel? I haven't always ever heard her called Grandma Heimbach, so pretty sure her name is Mabel. Wow, I'm really blanking on that. We're calling her Mabel. I'm pretty confident on that. And then this is William. Then the children in the back. So my grandma she came along much, much later. Can you even see that? Bring that up there. So Grandma Nancy was born after her mom was 40 years old, which, you know, back in the 40s, that was a lot. I think my grandma was born in like 1941 or something, or maybe that was my aunt. Is that right? Math. Yeah, that would be right. This is my great aunt. The only person in this photo that's still alive is my Grandma Nancy. Although my great aunt Betty, she lived to be 95. I think she just passed away this year, within the last couple of months. I think in May she passed away. Okay, so anyway, if you wanted to know the names, obviously name them anything you want. I do that all the time, but I actually know these people. This is Albert. This is Violet or Vi, and this is Betty. So this is my great aunt Vi, this is my great uncle Albert, and this is my great aunt Betty. I got to know all three of those in my lifetime, or their lifetime, or however you say that. Okay, finally, I don't know any of these people, but I love this photo so, so much. This is a group of people at some sort of dance. They're clearly in uniform, so this is military of some sort, which I just find so romantic, and I'm enamored with that. I mean, obviously there's a lot of tragedy that goes with people that serve our country. The purpose of why they're there and doing what they do, but also the other side of that tender, romantic, beautiful side of relationships and just the love and family and just being apart and then being together and just so much of that. I'm just kind of romanticize a lot. So I just love this photo. I couldn't wait to use it. So those are your 6 snapshots. And then finally your background page. I decided to go with this this page. Again, it's edge to edge. I can print edge to edge on my printer. If you don't have an edge to edge borderless printing option, you would just have that white border around. And then of course everything in here would be a smidge smaller because I, again, print edge to edge. Or borderless is another way to say it. It's just like a letter, like a document, is kind of what this page is. I just thought that would go really well with this kit because there's a lot of, I don't know, I kind of have this idea of like I've created a junk journal based on some of those photos with the homes and travels, but like more domestic travels and just all that fun kind of like memory stuff. So, that is This and That Volume 2. Again, you can find that in my Etsy shop. So with that, I'm going to share with you guys a quick project that I did in my off time and talk a little bit about what I've been up to. I said I was going to try to do some ID cards, but I really want to do that on a different video. I want to spend some time with that, but I do want to come back to it for just a second. Oop, I just threw everything on the ground. That's okay. Where are the other ones? So let me pull out the ones I've had previously made. Hello, come here. So, my dog came in and stepped on this paper. I had it on the floor. So, that's all right. So again, ID Document Starters Volume 2, Volume 1. These are pieces from Volume 1 you can find on my Etsy shop. I just wanted to point out the stamp sets that I created and then created the document starters to go with the stamp sets, and it's kind of a whole thing. But I wanted to show these again because I haven't talked about them in a little while, and I'm actually getting low on stock on Sign Here. So I will be restocking that when it gets too low, so have no fear, there will be plenty. This is a whole set of signatures. There is a male and female name in my own interpretation for every letter of the alphabet, and then there is one last name for every letter of the alphabet, plus you get a few extra little things. There's a little fun, like kind of almost embossed looking star, and then there is Dearest, Sincerely, you have Mr., Miss, Mrs., and then you have a couple of initials. The letters, I chose the letters because I just think they were the prettiest. D, R, H, W, G, and T. So that is Sign Here. So that is fun because then you can make fun signatures. Like this one says, can you see that? Lillian D. That's actually my daughter's name. This one says Sarah G. Newman. Who is this? This battery died again. I'm being so impatient. I'm not letting them fully charge. So as I was saying, this is Helen R. Davidson, and for this one I did Mrs. Yvette G. Foley. So just a fun way to add signatures to things like ID cards, but it doesn't always have to be ID cards. You can just, any sort of fun documenty thing. So that is sign here, and then registered is a companion set, but it stands alone. Obviously. So this has words like sign here, certified, identification, department, telephone, signature, received, attention, registered, non-assignable. I'm not listing them all. I'm just kind of the ones that are jumping out at me. There is a dash line, a solid line, a, well, when I was growing up, I called it the pound sign, but hashtag 0 through 9 numbers. And then you get like this little cancellation thing, these little kind of like arrows, and then pointy fingers pointing, well, both ways. So those are the stamp sets that are super fun to use with this, but they're fun to use with a lot of things. So now I'm going to do a quick project share because I want to share something I had worked on. I've done actually quite a bit of crafting, and then I took a big break, and I couldn't even, until this morning, couldn't even see this desk. It was covered with so much stuff. But one of the things I did recently is a pocket folio book thing. So let me go ahead and show you this and encourage you to make one because it's super fun. So I happened to be at Hobby Lobby, and my Hobby Lobby had all of these, I'm having a hard time breathing again, Tim Holtz pocket folios on clearance. So I got like 3 or 4 of them. I bought all the ones they had on the shelf still for $3.99. They were typically $7.99. I got them for $3.99. Felt like it was a steal. So if you haven't seen this, I know it's still available. I'm almost positive you could still get this in their Ideology Everyday line. It just happened to be my Hobby Lobby was getting rid of them. So I made a little book. So I'm excited to show you guys this, and I have a story to go with it. So this is the same thing that's here. I didn't use the tie, the whatever this is called. Don't know why my brain can't come up with that word. I don't have a closure on this, but it sits on my shelf like this. But this piece here is removable. So I made a little spine to sit in here when it's on my shelf, because then it just sits like that. It's really pretty, but it totally comes out. So this is just I think a Tim Holtz pocket card or something like that I just bent to make a spine, and super easy. So that's the faux spine. Okay, so here, let's go through this. This is a book about this woman. Her name will come to me as we go on. I made it a while back. Yvette, her name is Yvette. So this card actually could come out. So I had a lot of fun with this because I didn't have the pressure of filming it, that I was actually able to just kind of play. So I decided what I wanted to do is tell a bit of a story based on her life. So I made this little card here. I had fun using things like, what did I use? I used more texture. So like this is some mummy cloth that I kind of dyed, and this is like a crocheted ribbony thing. I used a lot of the tape. This is the Tim Holtz cello tape, but I also have Margaret from Seven Plaza, her Boo Boo tape that I printed onto sticker paper. And then I have some vintage inspired tape from the Reset Girl that I bought quite a few years ago. So I kind of try to use some of it up, but loved using it in this project. And I pulled out some rub-ons. I used some rub-ons. The Tim Holtz ones, because I've had them, and I thought, well, this would be a great project to use those. So there's just a kind of a few of the supplies that I intentionally pulled out. This does really go back in here. I swear it does. Well, that's as good as it's going to get. Okay, so the other thing I used is, I don't have it in front of me, but it's a Tim Holtz sticker book. Just a bunch of words. Like I think it's called Small Talk or something. So I use that throughout the book as well. So here it says, she merely went on with life. So this is an idea that I had of telling this story of this woman and just kind of things that have happened to her, people she's known or met in her life. It was kind of the route I was going. So for the cover, I used, I'm pretty sure this is a Tim Holtz wallpaper background paper thing. And I just kind of ripped it and tore it and inked it. I used my sewing machine, but then I also stamped underneath it some of my actual registered stamp. I used that stamp a lot and kind of just created some stuff. So it looked like the whole thing was stamped underneath and it peeks through, but it really wasn't. I just strategically stamped where I knew this was going to go. So I made a panel, sewed all of that, the paper panel, and then I glued it to the cover. And then there's a bit more down here. You can't really see. Let's see if I can get close. I could probably try to zoom in when I edit, but maybe you could see. So anywhere where I had the paper torn away, I knew where I was going to go ahead and need to stamp. So that's how I accomplished that look. There's a teeny little sticker up here. I love it. It says 137. And then I left the strings a little bit long, and then I added just a couple of little tags. So this is actually a piece of, let me turn my lights on because it's getting a little dim. There we go. There'll be a little glare, but that's okay. It's like a piece of the cello tape, a very tiny piece, and then I put a rub-on on it. And then I have a couple of little tags here. And again, I just stamped it with my registered stamp set. It says set and void. I don't know why, it just does. Here's a rub-on I used on this chipboard flower decal. And then I used this metal book plate thingy. So that was really fun. That was the start of it. And then opening it up, I have one of the Tim Holtz backdrops. And again, really had a lot of fun with the rub-ons. And so each page has one of these stickers that kind of tells the story. So this one says she kept her word. So this is again, we have to pretend. Yvette? Yeah, Yvette. I keep forgetting what I named her. So this is Yvette when she's older. And in my mind, I think her husband passes away while she's still relatively young. Let's say she was in her, I don't know, late 40s when he passes away, which I know is kind of sad, but you know, Disney kills the moms all the time, so it's fine. So this is kind of her story of her life and people that have come and gone. So that was kind of what I thought with this page here, is she met some other people or had some friends and they did some traveling and went and she kept living. Here again, you can see along the edge here, because this page didn't go edge to edge, I just, again, used my registered stamp, some of these stamps to just stamp on some words. And then because I knew this was gonna come over the back, or you'd be able to see the back of it, I just stamped and inked the back of this piece here before I glued it down. Okay, moving on, I created a pocket here and I used some of, what is this? This is sticker paper that I actually stamped on. So it kind of looks a little bit like a rub-on, but it actually is a piece of clear sticker. And then here's another one. These I could have cut them all out. I didn't. I just cut that one out. And then this was a fun thing. I don't know where they are. I'll have to show those in another video. I have some other stuff that I think would be kind of fun to just do a quick project share. But I made a bunch of these little frames, and that was inspired by, I think it's Sky Bambi. It'll be in another video. I'll talk about it more in depth and properly. But I used it here and it gave me the idea of creating more little pieces to be able to just grab and have foundational pieces for projects like this. So that is something that I kind of want to talk about in a future video and share some little projects that I have made in kind of that idea. So when I started this, I just kind of was doing one page at a time. I hadn't really fully developed the story yet, and it kind of went as I got going. Originally, this picture was going to be, it was one of these two. No, it was this one, was going to be the cover. And I realized I wanted this to be more about this woman and her story, her life. I don't know why there's a 28 there. I just happen to have it. So maybe she's 28 there. I don't really know. So the story progresses and we just have all of these little bits and pieces. So like this is a photo of two ladies. This is actually from my This and That Volume 1. And I don't know if this picture is too. I don't know where that one came from. That I think is, no, I think that's a Tim Holtz. Yeah, I think that's a Tim Holtz snapshot. And this just says traveling companion. So ideally these are the two same ladies. One of them is Yvette. And then this is just a piece of ephemera from the traveling. So kind of tuck that in like that. And the reason why I was saying that it just kind of developed as I went is because I didn't really pick out the background papers with a cohesive plan in mind, but it all kind of worked out. Okay. Next page here, I have this little boy here. I used my signature stamp, my sign here stamp, to give him a name. His name is Frank. And then I had already made this in a different, I have a video for that. It's my little photo slides. So I had already had this, so I just grabbed it to tuck it in here, and it says thinking of earlier days. And then there's just this extra little piece here that I tucked in. I don't know if that's from This and That Volume 1. I want to say it might be, but I can't remember. I know this little ticket is. So I did that. It's a ticket that you can print both sides. So I just made that. Some stamps. These are actual vintage stamps. Here's another one of those tickets. So Frank is Yvette's brother. And these little kids are some of their playmates when they were little. So let's say that Yvette is in the back, and Frank, is he the little brother or older brother? I don't know if he's an older brother or a little brother. So maybe this is Frank, undetermined. Next page here, excuse me. This is a page out of like a passport printable I actually have my own version that I think I'm going to put in an upcoming kit. But this is that photo I was saying matches up with the same group of people as This and That Volume 2. This one's from This and That Volume 1. Again, I used some vintage stamps. These are actual real stamps. And it says, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered together." Now, I'm a Minnesota girl, and Prince, very influential. He's from my area. God rest his soul. But that is a line from, what's a song called? I can't think of. Apparently, I'm just not good at recalling information today, but I just love that. And it's kind of fun because it's a group of friends together. So let's say that maybe that's Yvette. I don't know. Pick one. Okay. Here we go with just a page that I kind of started playing with. I put some... Oh, all of a sudden I could not breathe, and I thought I was going to lose it there. What was I saying? Oh, I put some collage paper. I played with some collage paper. Again, this was a fun project to just start playing with different things. Okay, so, excuse me. This is Yvette again, and this is her guy, and it just says, "She had a feeling." And then I put a little bit more of that mummy cloth under this bird. Had some fun with some sewing here. I was just really having a good time with this project. And this is actually, I sewed, how did I do this? Honestly, I can't remember. I didn't sew it to the thing because you would see it on the other side. Yeah, I think I sewed down the center, but then I glued it in. So it looks like it's sewn into the book, but I actually glued it. Yes. Here is another photo. Let's say this is Yvette, and it says, "The truest of my friends." So this is clearly her best friend. A lot of these things are also from This and That Volume 1. I know this is. I'm sure that is. Excuse me. The moth, butterfly, whatever that thing is, definitely is. Okay, moving on. This is not Yvette. I don't know who this is. It's just somebody she met in her travels, in her life. It says, "All her dreams would come true." So whoever that is, Yvette was very fond of her. Seems to be an influential person in her life. Then over here, we have, I put this one, it says travels. It's kind of on a map. Again, this is Tim Holtz background paper. A little ticket, and then this is the collage paper, but I just put it over this little bit of like a postcard, like script writing, another butterfly, and then again here I've pulled I pulled the paper. Oh, really struggling here. I promise I'm fine. I just did a little stamping under there because I distressed the paper so much. But yeah, this is collage paper over that scripty bit, and it says "Far From Home." I probably repeated myself, but my brain, I'm getting enough oxygen. I swear I am. I'm fine. Okay, this is the only page that doesn't have any photos of people. I don't know why. I just got to this page and didn't incorporate any photos. But, excuse me, this is one of those photo slides that I had made in a previous video, so I just added it to this project. I can't tell you how much I loved having things ready to go. Here is a page out of a yearbook. So this is actually out of a yearbook that I have from, I forget what year, the 20s, 30s, I don't remember. But I found this piece in the Tim Holtz backgrounds paper that says something about school. So I included this in, and it says, "We are having the time of our lives." And she's not on here. These are just friends. Okay, apparently my cover is needing some glue here. What happened? Well, we'll come to that. The covers come off. I did not secure them on. I left them off. And I'll when I flip to the other side, I'll show you what the other one looks like. But since I have this one off, you can see here again, I just did some stamping to make sure that there was something on there. We'll just stick that back in there for right now. Okay, this page here has a pocket. What other pages had pockets? I don't know if this one had a pocket. This one had a pocket. I made this pocket. This pocket, did I make? No, this is part of the book. And then this pocket is part of the book. I just covered it with some paper. This is her brother, again, Frank. So we've got this photo here. I actually pulled this out of that yearbook and just isolated this. And then I used a little bit of crackle paint over it to give it a little bit more of like a real photo kind of look. So that's Frank. And then here are a couple, same yearbook, couple more people that were from a football page, and then a rub-on, and then some collage paper. And what's funny is this is the same picture, different collage paper. I don't really know how that worked out. Why do I have two sizes? I know that Tim Holtz has the sheets now, and then there was the roll. So this must be the roll, and this must be from the sheet. I don't really remember. And this just says The Brothers. Then, excuse me, to cover the back little flap of this pre-made book, I used some more of that yearbook, and I stamped some names. So this is Carl. I put a little red star, like, she really liked Carl. Maybe Carl's the guy. I don't know. And then this is Penelope. And then this is Thomas. This is Yvette. And this is Kimberly. So this is, yeah, we're going to say it's the Yvette, not a separate Yvette. That'd be kind of weird if there was two Yvettes in her high school. But maybe there were. I don't know. Excuse me. Back cover. I was kind of mad at myself because I meant to sew up the panel before I put it down, but I didn't. I forgot. So the front is the only piece that's sewn, which is fine. But again, I did that kind of stamping where I distressed the paper and pulled it away. Okay, flipping it. Now we go to the other side because it's an accordion book. And before I do that, let me pull this out. To cover this flap, I just used some more of the yearbook page. And then here is just some background paper. I think it's Tim Holtz. I don't know. I can't remember. That was a long time ago. And then I clearly need to glue that and fix it, which is kind of surprising that happened because it's not been sitting on my shelf very long. Okay, here is, I guess I have 2 pages without photos. Here's another one. This is just, I really wanted to do something travel-y on this or something in the city because there's this paper in the background that had like this really cool like map of New York City, but then I realized I was going to cover it all up anyway, so I skipped it. Had a little bit of fun with a punch that I have, a Tim Holtz punch. Never really used this little prize ribbon thingy, so that was fun. Okay, moving on to the next page. This is this fellow here named Nathan. Says, "Promise me one thing." And is Frank her husband? No, Nathan. Nathan is, I had a story for this guy. Is Nathan her another brother or? Oh, I had a really great story. I can't remember now when I was putting it together. We'll make up a new one. Nathan is her other brother that went into the service. I don't know what uniform he's wearing, so let's say Army. The sticker says, promise me one thing. Nathan tragically lost his life fighting for our country in whatever war that was. Could it be World War II? Probably. That's probably right. Excuse me. But before he passed away, before he was tragically killed in action, he had written letters to his sister Yvette. Yes, we're going to say sister. And, you know, he didn't have a very positive outlook on if he was going to make it home or not. So he implored her. He pleaded with her, live your life. Promise me this one thing. You'll live your life. Live it for you. Live it for me. Live it for all of us that are, you know, fighting in this war. Maybe he had a sweetheart at home. Maybe he had a young wife or a fiance he was going to marry. So he said, promise me one thing, you know, be kind to her, love her as your sister, something like that. I had a thought and it just popped out of my head. Oh, that's why the title. So when I did that page and I was like, oh, she merely went on with life, is kind of because of that story of him saying, go on with your life. I didn't want it to be a love interest. I wanted it to be more of like a brother, or could be cousin, I guess. But let's say it's brother. Okay, moving on. So she did. She went on with her life. She lived for her brother who couldn't be there. So this page is very fun to me because this is about friendship. It says a lasting friendship. And then the pieces I put in here, there's a little ticket. There's this little tiny little card from Sierra Blanca, I don't know, Texas. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. And then, excuse me, I love this because now I have realized that oh wait, no, her name is not Yvette, is it? Yes, it is Yvette. Sorry, my gosh. This is why I should film things immediately when I finish a project. Yvette lives in Texas. She lives in Midland, Texas. I feel like I've heard that recently, but I don't know why. And then this is a little card that I have. I think it's in volume 1 of mileage to get to, I don't know. Oh, here, Sierra Blanca. I don't know where that is. In my mind, it's by water of some sort because that's where they are. And every year they get together once a year, these best friends from high school, these girlfriends, 2, 4, 6, yes, 6 of them. They travel all the way to this place again for a annual gathering, a weekend away, a girls' weekend, if you will. So we have Dolores, Helen, Ellen, Maggie, Yvette, and Nancy. So Helen and Ellen, I think, are twin sisters. They live in Phoenix. Dolores is in El Paso. Maggie is in Los Angeles. Yvette is in Midland, and Nancy is in Dallas. So they all travel once a year to gather together to just be together and continue that bond of their friendship. So this is them. This is that photo from volume 1. Then, excuse me, moving on. I just thought this bingo card was super fun as a background. And then this is a Tim Holtz snapshot that I actually cut out. And I put the word home. So this is the home that Yvette grew up in. Cute, huh? I love how this turned out. I'm going to have to do that more often. That was really fun. Okay, and we're getting to the end. This page here, I used an envelope to create a pocket, but I will tell you, I did a poor job of planning because it is rather tight. I did not gusset it or give it any room. So these items can't really come out my fat fingers. There we go. I just chucked a few little tickety things in here, kind of memorabilia from travels, trips, whatever it might be. And those get tucked right in there. A little bit of stamping. So this is my, this is using registered, pointy finger, and the word collected, but then also using, this is the star from Sign Here, in case you were wondering where that came from. I also used some Tim Holtz stamps and other things in here too. Another rub-on, some more of that cello tape, lots of that tape, I loved it. And then this is, it's I guess it could kind of be Yvette. Uh-oh, I don't know where that went, we'll figure that out. But this is her guy. Doesn't have a name, unless he's Carl. Where is Carl? Oh, it's such a bummer that fell apart. Is that Carl? Could that be Carl? Let's see. Where is he? What's happening here? Carl. Yeah, you know what? That could totally be Carl. Okay, so that's Carl. This is not their wedding. She's a bridesmaid in a friend's wedding, but they're clearly in love, and they got married eventually too, and had kids. But I decided not to include anything in here about really her love story with Carl or children or anything like that. I really wanted it to just be little kind of snippets of her life and kind of paying tribute to that relationship with Nathan, her brother. Yeah, we're gonna say brother. I have no idea where this snuck out from. Is it here? Well, that's where it's going. I don't know where this came from, but that's where it's going now. So that is my little accordion book here. This is the other flap piece of the yearbook, and then this is actually collage paper, Tim Holtz collage paper that I love so much. It's so pretty. And then again, it just get in there, just lives in there. I could have secured it all, but I didn't, because I kind of didn't know how to do that, or I'm sure I could have figured it out, but I just didn't have the energy. But I love that this can sit on my shelf with this little faux spine and have this little cute book. So, all right, well, that was a long one. Well, thanks, friends, for coming back and visiting with me. I hope you like all of the new digitals I have. I hope you'll go check them out. What else? I was going to do ID cards. I'll do that in a different video. I was really excited to share that project. I have some other stuff I've been working on. And I was going to give you a bit of a life update, but I think this video is long enough. I will do that in another video, because I'm sure I'll film something real soon, because I'm on vacation for this week. And so I want to utilize that time well. So I hope you have been well, friends. I have missed being here. So I feel this renewed energy. I'm excited. I'm excited to be back. I just don't know how that's going to look, because I also don't have a whole lot of time, which is, again, for my life update chat coming real soon. So go check out my Etsy shop. Links are in the description below. I hope you've been well, and I will be back real soon with some other little project shares, and then let's make some fun stuff. And Case Closed is completely finished. Those videos are coming soon, I promise. All right, friends, I will see you real soon. Bye.